It's not like they're holding me back. Yeah, I'm holding me back. And that's when I knew, oh no, we've gone too far. Sibulelo, where are you? And it's easier to overcome yourself. Is it? Hey mamas, welcome back to the Whole Mama Show. I'm your host, Aisha O'Reilly, and we're revealing the untold stories of motherhood. I don't know how many times I've had this conversation with my friends, relatives, women in general. I just feel like I'm not myself. How many of you can relate to that? I definitely can. If you haven't already, please remember to join my Mama Village by subscribing to my channel and following me on my social media platforms. When you become a mother, especially for the first time, it is such a life-changing experience. It's quite hard to imagine yourself like you were before. And yet, for some, it goes well. And for others, we do end up feeling completely lost. You're not the only mama who's lost herself in motherhood. Sibulelo is a digital content creator, a poet, an artist, a mother, and a wife who felt like she was losing herself in the depths of motherhood. This is her story. Mamas and aunties of toddlers, let me chat to you about how Lego Duplo sparks my kids' imagination. As a creative, I love watching my kids play with the Lego Duplo sets because their imaginations can run wild without any limits. The Lego Duplo My First Organic Garden set that Kenzo is playing with encourages him to dream up fantastical stories and come up with his own unique ideas and solutions. 8 standard Lego bricks make up one Lego Duplo brick, making them twice the size. They're much safer for toddlers aged 1.5 upwards to play with. Catch my other episodes for more essential skills that Lego Duplo helps to build. You can get your toddler their Lego Duplo sets from toy retailers and any Lego certified store. With Lego Duplo, your child can tap into their boundless creativity. Enjoy the episode.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I've been wanting to have you on my podcast, I think since season 2.
Oh,
whenever I started following you, I can't remember when it was.
And why did you call me?
I didn't call you because I didn't have your number, girl.
True. Well,
but then when we finally met in person, and I think I did tell you, I'm like, I need to have you on my podcast one day.
Yeah.
And then I had this long break and I had a baby. So now, here we are.
Finally to be here.
Yes.
So good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming. Joining me on the Whole Mama couch. Thank you. So, for the benefit of my viewers and my listeners, please can you tell us who you are, what you do, and who calls you mama?
Hi, I am Sibulelo Manamatela. I am a mother of 2, Gokanya and Mangi are their names. I am a momfluencer, is that what we're called?
I don't know what I'm names for.
It changes by season. Yeah. But I really consider myself a public journaler. I look at my page more as an output of myself and my thoughts and just sharing that in hopes of inviting people to be vulnerable with me. You know what I'm saying? So it's not so much, obviously there's intention about it, there's direction about it, but more often than not, it goes with the flow of where I'm at that time, you know. But yeah, so that's what I do. Yes, it serves me. Oh yes, I'm a poet. I write poems, I write other things, and I'm currently studying.
Are you?
I am.
Why?
Because why did I do that?
Why are you doing like that? What are you doing?
I'm still doing my creative writing path. So I'm majoring in English and stuff.
Nothing.
Yeah, so I finally want to finish this degree because I had 2 babies like
in between.
Yeah. So there's been lots of stopping and starting with that, but I just want to get it over with now.
Is this the bachelor's?
Yeah. So I just want to finish it because, just for completion. And also to just build that relationship of completion in my life. Because I always believe that if you leave things hanging, sometimes it can carry over into different departments of your life, you know, like, and also just building that trust within yourself to know that if I start something, I have the ability to see it through.
Yeah.
So that is literally why I'm finishing it. The desire of why I started it, it actually has changed. I don't need to do it, but I'm like means to an end.
Yeah.
Internally.
I think that's great. I think that's such a great sort of like lesson and message to anyone out there, especially moms who have had the bit of a stop-start kind of situation, because you're not the only one.
Yeah.
You know, but like to go back and finish what you started is possible.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's hectic.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I just came from exams. It made me see why mothers say, like, books before babies.
Yeah.
Boys, what is it? Boys, what? Books before boys, because boys bring babies. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't heard you have that, girl. Oh,
That
books
was weird.
before babies, because no, books before boys, because
Boys bring babies.
Yes. Okay. I'm gonna remember that for mine.
Yeah, because hey, the baby things, like, it completely changed the way I've been able to study.
Yeah.
And the time I have, and also, you know, I've read some articles online about how your brain changes in the way it functions after becoming a mom. So I actually feel like seeing myself the way I used to study before and after, I can see how my brain is just like, it's wired completely different.
Yeah.
I don't study the same. I don't retain information in the same way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Weird. But yeah, I'm doing it. And 10 more modules left and we're done.
10 more
Modules left and we're done.
So what does that mean, like time-wise?
Oh, that's
Plus minus.
this semester. So like half a year next year. And then I'm done.
Yeah, but still.
Oh, I am. I dropped like when I was almost done, when I had Mangi.
Yeah.
And then I tried to go back, but I always had nanny issues. That was the other thing of like studying when you have kids. So many external moving parts. But it does feel like I'm the only person.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because I don't know another mom is kind of going to be that. But it's been a very difficult thing to navigate, especially when it's not like a short course. I felt like if I was doing a short course, it would maybe be easier to manage because you know it's like a burst time period. But now it's like lectures, it's a lot. Yeah.
But what I love about this also is that you're doing it for you.
Oh, yeah.
Like, despite what everyone has said about women when they become mothers and what we need to do and sacrifice and you're still going back and finishing what you started for you.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
It's a tricky thing, though, to navigate, because I remember I told you, like, separating myself from motherhood has actually been a challenge for me. So I think it's one of the ways where I'm, like, teaching myself that as well, and reinforcing it into my life to say that do things for you and your goals don't stop.
Yeah.
And they don't necessarily have to change because of having kids, because there's a point where I thought that there's a point where I did restructure my whole life for the kids, and I have no regrets about it because it actually allowed me time to be the best mom I could be.
Yeah.
And not have to worry about waking up every morning and going to work or going to school or whatever. So I really took time out to mother completely, and I'm grateful that I had the privilege to do that because it takes a lot. Now, my kid the youngest is 3. And he was at school, he's in grade 1. So it felt like the perfect time to sort of start going back to, not going back necessarily, but including my dreams and career aspirations more. It's a learning thing for me as well. And it's teaching me a lot. And it's been a hard year because of it. Because I'm like, relearning how to study, because it feels like I need to first learn how to learn again.
Yeah.
And then do the learning, because there's a method to it. But there's also the lesson of like, how are you incorporating yourself into motherhood again? So that's been a really fruitful thing, as difficult as it is, because I'm not gonna lie, it's tough.
Yeah.
Like, it's so hard.
How did you first become a mom? Yeah.
Yeah. I met a man. I met a beautiful man. And yeah, so I mean, that's where it all begins. Because initially, because I had my child Kukanya at 21. I had turned 21 like for a few months. So that means I was pregnant by the end of my year of 20.
Okay.
Growing up in high school, early uni days, to not want kids. And
At all?
Like, even like you can ask anyone,
Yeah.
my family, everyone would say like marriage, don't even try that conversation. Children don't even like, I was not having any of it, right? I didn't want any of it. And if I had not met the person I want to do those things with, I would have stayed in that position. But meeting the man, it sort of changed my perspective, not on kids, but on how it looks to share your life with someone, you know? So it became more about wanting to do those things with him and not just wanting to do those things.
Right.
It's a tricky thing to navigate though, because I think, what if it all goes wrong?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But we're not there, so it's fine. But I do often think about that. I fell in love and he was very intentional about me and pursuing me as a person, and then made me feel safe. Safe enough to want things that I didn't know that there was a little bit of want for them.
Yeah.
Because in the past, it was more about not wanting it because of what you've seen and feeling like the whole idea is like, oh, that's toxic. I don't want that. I don't want a marriage because a marriage looks like this most of the time.
Did you grow up seeing toxic
relationship? I was raised by a single mom, so it wasn't so much seeing toxic relationships, but not having a great view of a relationship.
Right.
There was no one in close proximity where I felt like, wow, marriage, that's so beautiful. And I didn't have that. There was no one to show me that type of imagery. And what I did see with relationships, I didn't like. Whether it was marriage, just relationships, I just didn't. I was like, yeah. So when I met the right person and there was that feeling of safety, it allowed me a space to sink into it and get to know myself on a different level, because now I feel safe enough to relax in a relationship, you know?
Yeah.
I feel safe enough to aspire and set goals together. Yeah. So that was very important in my becoming a mom, because otherwise it wouldn't have happened. So with that feeling of safety and with his intentions and with my intentions, and with realizing that, oh, I want to build a family with this person, we then built a family.
Yeah.
So I found out I was pregnant with Kanya. I was so happy.
Yeah.
I knew from that day, like when it was even a suspicion, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have a baby with the love of my life, you know? And it was just so special.
The news of it was exciting to you. And how was the pregnancy and birth? How did that go?
Being pregnant here is a bit tricky. Your friends are not pregnant. Like, you're the only person pregnant. Your friends are in the club. Your friends are at school. And I had a tough time with that because it felt like, oh, what am I doing? Because I'm making such a different decision. Like, and sometimes that makes it feel like it's wrong when it's so against what your peers are doing. It feels like you shouldn't be doing that. That's how it looks like. That's how you should be living your life. But honestly, I had a great support system. I remember my friend Nandi, who was studying in England, kept an app, the pregnancy app, on her phone as well.
For you?
Yeah. While I was pregnant. So she would be, yeah. And it made me cry one time when she called me. She was like, oh, your baby's the size of a what? And I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? And yeah, my friend Renee was also just like, they were great. So as much as it felt like they are on their own path, they were constantly like making sure that I was okay. And it was great of them. I even feel emotional about it because I actually wouldn't have been able to navigate being pregnant so easily if I didn't have them to lean on and to go through go to all the time. Because yeah, your partner's great. Like if they're great, that's nice. But at the end of the day, like you are a person with other people in your life, you know, and it's important that those relationships also get maintained. So that was a big one for me, because I was so young and I was so excited.
It's almost something I think we take for granted, that we just assume that everybody, when we're pregnant, is going to be supportive, is going to be there for you. And once the excitement kind of dies down, I always feel like there's a bit of a lull that happens. Like with the news, it's like, I'm pregnant. Oh my God, congratulations. And then it gets a bit quiet.
Yeah.
You know, like for you, it's not quiet.
Yeah.
Because for you are having it. It's happening.
Yeah.
All of the symptoms, you're going to the doctor, you're doing this, you're doing that. And if you have a partner who's involved, he's doing that with you, great. But everyone else kind of goes quiet.
Yeah. And they're waiting for the baby.
They're waiting for the arrival.
Yeah.
They're waiting for that news. So I think it's really like, and you know how you're saying you were getting emotional. I can understand why.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, I don't think that's something that we're almost taught to do. How do you support a woman in your life, you know, is it your sister, a friend, or colleague who is pregnant or who is a new mom?
Yeah.
No one really...
How does it look like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
You know what? It's so tricky because you can't say how... You can't say. It's up to the person to kind of like be there as best as you can, which is why I always appreciate, like, I love mom bloggers. A lot of the time, there's so much perspective of how, as a friend or as a partner, you can be there for that mom. If you have, like, someone pregnant in your life, the best way to learn what they actually need, because sometimes it's difficult for that person to tell you what they need.
Exactly.
But if you go through someone else, they can give you insight as to how best to be there for that person. What my friends did for me was just so extraordinary and so thoughtful, because I wouldn't have been able to communicate that, hey, this is what I need right now, how to support me. Because most of the time, it's a baby shower and some gifts. But in a day-to-day basis, that...
You can't have a baby shower every day.
Yeah. Yeah. So what for me was so spectacular was the consistent, if almost mundane way they were able to support me. In the same way that a partner can support you just by getting you like something that you crave. It was that sort of thing where it's it's an everyday thing. And most people would overlook it and not think about it, but it meant so much. Like, you're keeping an ab.
Those are friends to hold on to.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. And you know, as you were talking now, when you're saying that, yes, of course you need your partner and all of that, but there are other sort of areas in your life and other relationships in your life that you kind of need and stuff. I don't know about you, but I figured out that I'm like, I need women right now. I absolutely adore my husband. He's amazing and very hands-on in it, whatever. But in those moments when I was pregnant, especially when I was pregnant and when I was postpartum, I'm like, I just want my women around me. I want my women, and by women, I'm talking about my sisters, my friends, my colleagues, to check in on me, to give me some kind of like comfort in some way. There's something about that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, it is.
Yeah.
It's so important.
Yeah.
And I think that's what my mom as well is to me. Like, my women are my friends and my mother. Like, women.
Isn't it funny how when you are becoming a mother, you need your mother? But I'm like, you want to be a child again. So someone is there to take care of you.
Yeah. Sometimes my mom will even say, like, leave my kid alone to my kids. And I'm like, oh, thank you, Mom. Mommy.
That's so...
Yeah, because I think it's such a difficult journey and you need to be vulnerable somewhere. But you can't be vulnerable with your kids most of the time.
Yeah.
Especially when they're still young. There's not a lot of room to, like, and also they can't do it. They can't do anything. So you kind of need more people to literally just, flop on it or swaying that. It's literally just in that space you are completely being cared for.
And you're safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know that person loves you no matter what.
Yeah.
No judgment, no shaming, because none of
shaming.
It almost like comes with, it's like part of the T's and C's. of becoming a mom. Be ready. As soon as you know you're pregnant, it starts.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least your pregnancy didn't it wasn't too hectic, right? Compared to
No, and like my pregnancies were actually like health wise, it was okay. And but I do feel like I was sad a lot of the time. Besides the initial like knowing that I want to have the baby and I'm happy that I'm gonna have this human being in my life. I don't want to say depressed because I never went to go see anyone about it, but I mean, it felt pretty close. And it was like almost like looking back a blur. Besides those like standout moments and standout events, when I look back, I can barely remember it, and that sucks because I'm like, but also it's good because I think, that whole thing where they say your brain kind of protects you from, those sort of memories. But yeah, so like a lot of it is a bit of a blur.
I really wanted to sort of like get more about that sort of toughest time in your life. Not toughest time in your life, but like toughest time in motherhood or currently. I don't know if it's something that you're still trying to figure out, like the whole idea of, sort of possibly losing yourself. That's where society kind of calls it.
Yeah. I'm not there anymore.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
It took me some time in giving myself over to the experience because I truly believe that was my intention. My intention was always just because also this is not something that I really expected when in my life. I wanted to do the best job I could do.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a great mom. And I wanted to be available for my kids. Also because my mom was working growing up, and I always used to see other kids, man, their parents were always there. You forgot your homework at home, don't worry. Your mom is available. She's not at work. So those little daily things, ways in which you can be available. That's how I want to parent. I want to be there. If my child needs me, they know.
Yeah.
In trying to do that and trying to establish that space, the stubborn person who didn't want to have kids, but who also had so many goals, aspirations, and there's so much that she wants to do still, in that period, it felt like I forgot.
Forgot yourself.
Yeah. It felt like I forgot what I wanted outside of the motherhood. So I'm fulfilled as a mother. I'm actually doing it exactly how I would envision it, save for, making mistakes. But I'm here. I'm at home with my kids. But now there's this part of me that is so neglected. So neglected. And almost like she's disappearing. With every passing day, she's going further and further back. And you wake up one day and you get triggered by one little thing. I remember, I think I watched something online of someone who was doing exactly what I had wanted to do in my life. And I was so triggered. And I was like, what? And then I went to a spiral of actually questioning if I still have those abilities. Because confidence is a huge thing for anything, even career-wise.
Yeah.
I questioned, can I do it? And that's when I knew, oh no, we've gone too far. We're in, Sibulelo, where are you? It's been a process of reclaiming little by little different parts of the things I love to do. I going to poetry shows, watching music performances, things from as small as that and as big as starting to study again, and because also there's the fact that it's not just the motherhood aspect that felt like I lost myself to it, but also content creation, because that's something I picked up as a mom to build that community.
Yeah.
But it also felt like, in terms of career-wise, that can swallow you if that was never your intention. You know what I'm saying? There's now this almost accidental career path that has happened, which is great because I love it and I enjoy it so much. But I kind of need to also do the things that I've always wanted to do it's taking a step back from that, because I mean, I'll always be a mom and I have to show up for them all the time.
Yeah.
So it's learning to find ways to get back without losing what I have now, and using the relationships that I've built with my kids that I treasure, you know, like how can I incorporate Sibsy for the streets, if you know. That was before I had kids. You know, but how can that girl also just flourish? Because she's always there. And if I continue to live in a space where she's not getting a chance to do what she was sent, like her purpose, I will continue to be triggered by people living their highs.
Yes. Yeah.
I'll feel jealous of people that I don't know. I'll feel resentful towards my kids. There's so much. And it's funny because I remember my husband saying to me, like, I think it was while I was pregnant with Kanya, before we even had the child, he said, don't ever stop. Like, I don't want you to ever stop pursuing your career or doing whatever it is you want to do for my sake or for my children's sake, because I don't want resentment. I don't want you to blame me for that. And so having someone who's always been open to, like, it's not like they're holding me back. Yeah, I'm holding me back. And which is good, though, because it's easier to overcome yourself. Is it?
I think it depends on who you are.
Yeah.
What your personality is like.
True.
Yeah.
But knowing that I was in a space where the only thing holding me back is me.
Yeah.
Like, I can't blame my kids and saying that, oh, but I haven't improved it. Yeah, but there's daycare, there's this, like, you can work with it, you know? And it's not the end of the world. Motherhood is not an expiration, you know?
Yeah.
So this year, more especially, has been hard in the sense that I am now navigating, reclaiming myself, you know? But at least there's that it's safe. And there's no one really, like, trying to rein me in. I'm just dealing with this girl.
Yeah. And I think that's so big of your husband when he said that, because unfortunately, let's be real, there are a lot of partners and husbands out there and like, you're the mother of my children now.
Yeah.
You don't need to work. You don't need to, and I don't want you to work. Yeah. Not in a knight in shining armor kind of way, like, you don't have to work, my darling, I'll take care of you. For more like, you better not.
Yeah.
You know, because you're my wife now and you're not there.
In the knight in shining armor way, I've always, like, considered that it doesn't matter what your intention is. And everything seems nice. Something can seem like a great thing. But there's so many women who end up not being happy 10 years down the line because they felt like, oh, I don't have to. Yeah. And in that moment, yeah, sure, that's nice. Yeah. That can be nice. But you kind of have to remember that you weren't always a mom. You weren't always a wife. Like, you were a person all by yourself from the beginning. Unfortunately, that person doesn't go anywhere just because you've made a decision.
And you're still going to find that person when your kids are out of the house. Because once they're out, what happens?
Yes.
Yeah.
That person is still there. Yeah. So I think I remember he once had a fight because my partner was like, actually, I was frustrated. One of the times where I was triggered by people living their lives. Yeah. And he said, remember what I told you? Because I was talking about how I'm sacrificing things for motherhood. And he was like, yes, you are. And I'm glad you feel like you're being the best mom you can be, but that can't be the reason why. Yes. No, because you are not, no one is making you like do that. No one is holding you to these rigid like standards that you have now done for yourself. Very angry at that man. You don't want to hear that. I want to hear it. I did not want to hear it. I said, damn, he's right.
Did you sort of like feel, because, you know, as you were telling the story, it almost sounded like what a lot of us, I think, have in our heads, the narrative that we have in our heads is like, I'm going to wear this as a badge of honor. I am sacrificing for my children.
Yeah.
I am giving my all. Were you sort of like almost...
I think there's this idea that it might not always have to do with the people closest to us, but there's this image that's painted even in the media just around like how a great mom looks.
Yeah.
And in my pursuit of trying to be the best mom I could be, I fell into other people's idea of how that looks, which is dangerous because now I'm having a fight with this man who did not tell me that it has to look this way, but I took on those ideas and I internalized.
Yeah.
And now I had to deal with the consequences of like, no, rethink it. Like you're coming at this from the wrong angle. You're not living it according to you, and according to your family. Because in my family, it was said, and you have space.
Yeah.
But I took that away from myself.
Yeah.
There's a part of me who knows that there were lots of benefits to sort of just sinking into motherhood. I honestly believe that foundation in the relationship with my kids, priceless, like I wouldn't trade the way we're able to bond for the world. Like honestly, being there 24/7, it's a privilege.
It is.
It's a privilege. It's just now, it's not the same. They don't even need me around that much, I now have to readjust. And I think it's also realizing the right time to do that. I think I left it a bit too long, actually. I should have started sooner to get my head out of stay-at-mom mode.
You know what? It's never too late.
And
it's also you're talking like your kids are like 15, like 20, but they're like 3 and I was, but
I think it's also the extent at which I had adjusted my life around motherhood. Like, I was barely leaving the house. I wouldn't barely leave the house without my kids. Like, if we were going somewhere, it's because we are going somewhere.
Yeah.
And so it was to a very, very great extent where we were always like, it's just me and these kids. At a certain stage, I felt like I forgot how to speak to people.
Like grown-ups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be out like in public when I would go out like with my partner and I'd be like, oh, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
And how do I speak to people? Like, what do people talk about? So I think what made it difficult and why it's sounding like, I'm speaking about grown people is because I feel like I was very deep in that trend, especially for the type of person I am. I'm a social person, I love going out. I love meeting people.
Yeah.
And so when it feels so far removed, it's almost like everything becomes alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you mentioned that this year especially, it's kind of like the year that you're feeling like you really need to kind of navigate sort of figuring out who Sibs is and what does she want and all of that. I'd love to know what do you want? What are your dreams? What are your
Okay. Currently, something very exciting happened this year.
Yeah.
I'm on a billboard, baby.
Are you? Already?
Yes. That reminded me, like it came at the right time. Firstly, because the schoolwork was swallowing me.
Yeah.
And as great as that is for me, it's a lot. So that campaign came at like the perfect time because I was actually on set and doing that work. And it reminded me, Sibs, one day you want to be an actor. And just whatever. So that's something I want to do again. That's definitely like on my, after I finish, not, if it comes before, it comes before.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. If there's anyone looking, cast me. But so if it comes before, something like that, like if it comes before, I'm open to it. I want to be in entertainment. Like, I am a very creative person. So put me on a stage. Like, I performed for years before having kids.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Getting back to that, but in a different way because I don't want to do it the way I was doing it. But I'm trying to get back into performance. I want to be on your screens, guys.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And on more billboard.
On way more.
Yes.
Definitely that. Definitely that.
I love that. I didn't know that about you. But I think that's awesome.
Because it's also something that it feels scary to speak out now.
Yeah.
Because any work that is done publicly, you also fail publicly. And there's a bit of a community of like 30,000 people. I'm not going to go in front of 30,000 people and saying this is what I want, because it would be so embarrassing when you don't. Like, it feels embarrassing. It shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But like, it feels like when you don't, if you speak about goals so publicly, it almost puts extra added pressure to achieve them in like record speed.
Yeah.
If I say this to you, oh, I'd really love to do this, your mind tells you that there's someone waiting for you to do that because you spoke.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm comfortable now speaking about it because, well, I'm growing up, man, and I'm realizing that actually I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't anymore.
Yeah. And also, I think there's power in putting the words out there.
I believe that
manifestation. That's all real.
Yeah, but I believe in manifestation.
Yeah,
but I usually use my journal.
Okay. Yeah. It's not like on a public.
Sort of. Thing. I mean, it's worked for me so many times.
Yeah.
Most of the things that I write down, I see it and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've been bold enough to share it.
Isn't that amazing what that happens, though?
It is. It is. It feels like voodoo.
Ken doesn't believe in it, but no, he does it. We're very different in that sense. But I honestly,
I see that.
Yeah, like every year I write down exactly what it is that I want to do, to accomplish, to whenever I put it down.
Yeah.
And then I don't look at my notebook.
You let it go.
I just let it go.
Yeah.
And
sometimes for me, I always feel like sometimes I literally think it. You know, like sometimes it's just a little thought that crosses your head, and then like a few months down the line, you get, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Because the universe wants what we want.
Yeah.
Somebody had said that to me before. And I was just like, that is so true. That it wants what you want.
No, definitely. You know? If you're aligned with the person that you are and your purpose, I truly believe that it doesn't become easy, but it becomes more attainable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agree. So, Sims, what would you say is your whole mama truth?
I am first and foremost a trying mom. I try my best. And I am an able mom. I try and I can. So yeah, it's being giving myself grace and kindness, and extending that to every facet, because I think when you think about motherhood, like you were saying earlier, people think of the kid and that transfer from child to mom, and vice versa. But there's so much more there, because now you're existing forever as a mom, and even in a space where you wouldn't look at you and see you as a mom at work, but even there, that is your reality, in every facet. So I think that is my truth, that I'm trying and I can across the board, whatever it is. Yeah.
Okay, we're done.
Oh my God, no! You want to know? Let's chat.
We can do another episode.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming. And thank you for sharing your truth.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. I hope that has given you some inspiration and some motivation, especially if you find yourself currently in that part of motherhood where you feel like you're stuck in a bit of a rut, or you've become antisocial, or you just don't quite feel like yourself. Know that this phase that you're in will be over, and others like Sims have gone through it before. Please let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment below. Can you relate to Sib's story? How long did it take you to sort of feel like yourself again? I'd love to know, so please leave a comment below. And also share this on social media. You can share it on your stories or send me a DM. I always enjoy getting feedback from you. If you haven't already, please remember to subscribe to join my Mama Village and follow me on my social media platforms. Once again, I'm Aisha O'Reilly, and I hope this episode has left you feeling a little bit more whole, Mama.